All right, good morning. It's 9 o'clock on March 20, 2023. This meeting of the Hingham Select Board is called to order. This meeting is being offered remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022 and all other applicable laws temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised of this meeting, and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. If anybody is recording this meeting, please notify me at this time. Hearing that, I know for the record participating in today's meeting are myself, William Ramsey, Chair, board members Elizabeth Klein and Joseph Fisher. Next item on the agenda is to open the 2023 Annual Town Meeting Warrant for submission of a warrant article regarding the purchase of 30 Summer Street, Hingham, Massachusetts. All right, so who's going to lead this one? Is it going to be Michelle, Art, or Susan?
Susan actually might be best placed to.
All right, Susan.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, Susan.
Okay. So this is the property down on the harbor, between 26 Summer Street and the Rotary next to Barnes Wharf. The owner of the property is interested in selling the property, actually approached the town about its interest in selling the property, based on conversations that I've had with Tom Mayo and Art Robert. You know, there was some interest in trying to explore whether or not that the town could reach a reasonable or acceptable price for the property and do certain due diligence. So at this point, I believe the town administrators and ATAs are putting it before the select board as to whether or not you want to open the warrant to insert this article just to give the town the ability to explore the possibility of purchasing the property between now and town meeting.
Yes, sorry, my voice is going. If I can just add, I think the property represents a unique opportunity for the town. But if we're going to proceed, I think two things need to happen. First, we need to make sure that we can negotiate a price that's fair to the town. And second, we need to make sure that we can conclude due diligence well before town meeting so that we can give town meeting the opportunity to evaluate this opportunity. So assuming that those two conditions are met, namely negotiating a fair price and concluding due diligence prior to town meeting, I'd be willing to move forward.
So I would agree with that. And I guess my question is, you know, in terms of the due diligence, Susan, what's the next step? And when will, I think for me, I mean, Joe's absolutely right? The price has got to be fair. Because I do like the parcel. I think the location is important for what we have planned for the harbor, but the price has got to be fair to the taxpayers, and our due diligence has got to be completed to the extent that we and advisory can make an informed decision in the ultimate recommendation of town meeting. So in terms of the due diligence, obviously the negotiation, the price that's going to be done between the town and the property owner. But can you talk to us about the due diligence portion of it, when it might be done, when we're going to be able to make the best decision possible regarding the parcel?
Right. So the standard list of due diligence that any purchaser would do for this type of property would be title, possibly doing a survey, do a environmental report, look at kind of the permitted uses of the property and the potential future use of the property. And, for the town in particular, that would be how could this parcel potentially contribute to the town's use of public resources at the harbor. So those are pretty much kind of the big three, you know, title survey, environmental, and kind of use. Also, the town could do an inspection of the building, see what kind of condition the building is. And, you know, the one that would, that has a little bit of lead time on it, or the most lead time on it, is the environmental. The town has consultants that it uses on a regular basis when environmental issues come up. And so, you know, I know that I believe town engineers reached out to try to figure out that timing. So that would be the critical one, to try to nail down the timing on that one. I don't have specific dates today.
Susan, I would just ask you to not go beyond that. We are not in executive session. I just want to make sure that
That's all
we
I'm saying.
don't engage in discussion that might
Yeah.
affect these negotiations. Thank you.
I'm just giving a list of what you would typically.
I got it.
Yeah, I think she gave a typical list of what
Yep.
you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I was looking for, yeah. We also, our vote today, I'm not sure this is for you, Susan, or Michelle, or Art, but our vote today to reopen the warrant, to insert it, to allow advisory to vote on it, this board can ultimately, you know, take a subsequent no action vote and ask advisory to do the same if we get more information that we do not want to pursue this. And we could probably do that up until a couple days before town meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so our vote today doesn't bind us to move forward. It moves the process forward, but doesn't bind us to committing to doing this.
That's right. It buys you a little bit more time to do some of that due diligence and other work.
Okay, and one last question before I turn it over to Liz. So obviously, we're recommending a pretty significant override this spring. And I spoke to a resident on a Friday. Hey, what's the tax impact going to be of this potential purchase? And I obviously want to borrow for it. But Michelle, could you explain that a little more about how this would impact taxpayers?
Sure. I think if the board and the town did decide to move forward with this purchase, we would look at it as a borrowing within the levy, so non-excluded debt, which means that the tax levy wouldn't increase as a result of the borrowing. What would happen after the override is that we need to pay this debt service every year, which would be between $50,000 and $80,000. It would basically widen the deficit by that amount. So it would be more of a hit to the tax mitigation stabilization fund or unassigned fund balance in those years in between, but it wouldn't result in a tax increase.
Okay, thank you. All right, Liz, do you have any questions?
No questions, I guess, right at this point. I mean, I agree that this could be a great opportunity for us. I mean, I'm thinking about it in terms of preserving the harbor, access to public resources, a possible revenue opportunity for the town, helping with our client resiliency goals, the wharf walls project. So that's what I see as the opportunity. As far as my concerns, it's the cost, you know, coming up with a fair price, and the impact on the town, certainly just in terms of the discussion with the override this year and the timing. So Susan, thank you for outlining, you know, what the next steps would be. I think, you know, I want to feel like we have more information to make a good decision. I don't feel like I have all the information today. But given the potential opportunity, I think it makes sense to move the process just to the next step, to try to get more information. So that's kind of where I'm at, in terms of the due diligence.
Okay, great. Joe, anything else?
Oh, I mean, I think all three of us are saying that we recognize the opportunity, but that given the timing, we need to make sure that certain things happen before we commit. But this opening the warrant and inserting this warrant article would be the next step, recognizing that it ultimately can be a no action by the select board, advisory committee, and ultimately town meeting. So you know, I think we should move forward with this.
Great, thank you. And for the for the members of the public who are joining us this evening, I know we don't have a lot of them this morning. We don't have a lot of them, but the reason why we're doing this today is because we have to send the warrant to the printer next, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday this week. And I think advisory needs to take a vote on our recommendation probably tomorrow night. So, so this is why we're meeting this morning and likely to take a vote here in a couple of minutes. But before I do that, let me see if any members of the public have any questions or comments. If you could just kind of raise your hand virtually or just kind of wave at me. I don't see anybody. Okay, all right. With that, then I would take a motion if someone's inclined to make one.
Bill,
Joe,
I do see a hand raised and, but
there
before,
is one.
what,
Okay.
yeah, what
There it
is
is.
the warrant? What is the warrant article number?
It would be FF.
Oh, FF, got it. Thank you.
We do have a question. Carol Meyer, good morning.
Oh, hi, sorry, I couldn't figure out how to raise my hand for some reason. I know that the advisory committee mentioned at their last meeting that the potential possible price was 1.5 million or less. Can you confirm that, or is that not even something to mention at this point, if you're not sure? Or
And Carol, I think we are in the process of a negotiation, and it would really not be advisable for us to go into that in an open
no,
meeting.
that's okay. I just had to ask.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Okay.
And with environmental issues, is it because it used to be a gas station on that property?
So when you buy any commercial property, it's always standard to do an environmental report.
Okay,
So I think regardless of the use, the town would do that. The town's done it on every other parcel that it's acquired.
okay, thank you. Yep.
All right, Carol, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Joe and Liz, is there need further discussion on this item?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, I would just echo what Joe said previously about moving the process forward, but we're moving it cautiously forward. So I think certainly my ultimate decision is going to be made in a couple of weeks for a town meeting when I get more information about the parcel and we have a negotiated price with the seller. But I personally am comfortable moving forward at this juncture. But again, I'm gonna wait for more information before I make an ultimate decision about whether I'm gonna make a recommendation to buy this. That's where I'm at.
Agreed. I'm not ready to make a recommendation yet, but I think it does make sense to just take the next step so we can continue or start the due diligence, really.
All right. With that, I'll take a motion.
I move that we open the 2023 Annual Town Meeting Warrant, insert Article FF, and close the Annual Town Meeting Warrant.
Second,
All those in favor, Joe?
Aye.
Liz?
aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, Liz?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I'm adjourned as well. The meeting is adjourned.